Hello everyone, this video will cover Module 2. So Module 2 moves us further into the first essay assignment. We are going to go through the process of brainstorming, outlining, drafting, and then completing a final draft, and then reflecting on the final draft in some post-writing. So it will take us the first 3 modules. So we've got Module 1, you did a brainstorm. Now in Module 2, you're really going to get into this rhetorical analysis essay, start planning how you're going to put it together, get a draft going, and then in the next module, so Module 3, is when the final draft will be completed and turned in. So there are some steps, and you do need to kind of wait for feedback. That's the only disadvantage of doing it like this, is just, it does take me some time to go through them. So make sure that you are kind of keeping an eye on your grades, and when you see some feedback in there from your brainstorm from the previous module, then you can get in here and start working on your outline. So your outline is kind of the next step in that process. I do have 2 things in here to do first. Your first readings quiz, which actually covers the readings from Module 1 and 2. So you had some readings back here, these 2 chapters on just rhetorical choices, the rhetorical situation, that kind of thing. All of these are available, if you remember up here, this link to the e-textbook, the new Harbrace guide. That is what we're using for the class. So you link in there, and then you get 2 new chapters to look at. Chapter 13 should be, hopefully, a lot of review, because it just goes over basically how to write an essay, going from the ideas to the finished product. And so that goes over that writing process. So hopefully you remember a lot of that from Comp 1. So once you're done with the readings, you can see I've got the 2 linked in there, or outlined there, and you can go through all of the readings for the first 2 modules. Then you can take the quiz. The quizzes in this class are all, you can take them as many times as you want to. They pull from a pool of questions though. So you want to make sure that you're, if you take it multiple times, you're going to get different questions. It does record the highest score though. So if you just want to test your own knowledge, that's perfectly fine. So then what we're going to do is the other assignment in here that's it's somewhat related to the essay, but it's not specifically for the essay. It's just a little bit of practice with AI. And so AI obviously is a big problem in writing, but it can also, in a lot of your college classes, I think AI can be a useful support tool, and that is an appropriate way to use AI. And so I've got a few examples in here, a few assignments throughout the semester where I actually have an option to use AI, and then I want you to use it correctly. So I've outline specifically how I want you to use it. So in this case, it's just to learn a little bit more about rhetorical analysis. Our chapter in the textbook kind of gives you an overview of it, but I don't think it does a very good job of providing a lot of examples. And so this is kind of the purpose of this assignment. So what you're going to do is copy and paste this prompt, and then you go through the list and decide what are terms that maybe you want to know a little bit more about. And then you're going to go to your preferred AI program. I just pulled up ChatGPT, but you could use any of them. And then you're going to copy and paste that in there. And then just list your terms that you want. So I picked Kairos, pathos, and exigence. And so then it came up with this little chart here for me, so that I can see there's some examples of the 3 different things, and there's a definition of each one. So now what I'm going to do is go through and I want to look at these examples, do the links work, and then kind of my opinion, do you think it really gives a good example of that or not? And then that is going to be your response. So you're going to copy and paste. So I'm just going to go in here. I'm going to copy and paste this response into a Word document. And then I'm going to, underneath it, write just a couple of paragraphs of my own feelings about it. So I want to think about, like, how easy did it explain the definitions? Are they good examples of those particular terms? Did I learn anything from it? And that kind of thing. So I'm just thinking about and reflecting on the AI response. How helpful was it? That kind of thing. So not a lot of like not really in depth here. I'm just looking for a couple of paragraphs, you know, just your own thoughts. There's no wrong answers there. And then I also have an option if you choose not to use AI. If you don't want to use AI at all in this class, you absolutely do not have to. I do understand why some people are avoiding it entirely, and that is perfectly fine with me. And so if you choose not to, then you're just going to do it on your own. Just, you know, a definition of each term, and then an example, and then just a short explanation of what it shows you. Again, like similar to the only thing, it would just maybe take you a little bit longer to find the examples, and that's about it. Anyway, level 3 here for this one, because about 50% of it is going to be the AI generated content, and then the other 50% will be your response. It is important though that you make sure you tell me which AI program that you used when you do that. So I added this actually just recently. There's a page, how to cite AI generators and Grammarly, that I'll be linking throughout the semester for assignments that where you might end up using them. Okay, so that is those 2 assignments that are sort of related to, they're just related to AI, rhetorical analysis. And now you're going to get into the essay itself. So you did the brainstorm, you want to look back at your brainstorm, and then you want to start working on your outline. So your outline is going to be just the article that you chose, and then you're going to outline what main points you want to cover. So I've got an example in here. You're more than welcome to use my example and just like write over it if you want. But basically, you want to include who's the author, and then the title, and then what pages it shows up on in the new Harbrace guide. Your working thesis is kind of your overall assessment of it. Is it a successful argument or not? What does he include, or he or she, they include in their argument that's either successful or not. You can cover like basically sort of strengths and weaknesses you want to think of, or pros and cons or something like that. You're really focusing again on the author's technique. So what sort of technique do you see? So I've got some examples in here, like he uses ethos because he's a professor. He's conducting his own experiment. He has lots of professional experience there. Another effective technique he relies on is humor, so use of pathos with some questions and things like that in an audience. And then I don't think this article is in your textbook. I probably should come up with one from your textbook to help you. Anyway, if I remember, I'll see if I can link it in here so you can see what it looks like. But then I also go over some of like some academic strategies that he doesn't use and some of the issues that might arise because of it. So like he doesn't cover any opposing viewpoints and that kind of thing. So that's just kind of a basic, what are you thinking about covering in your essay? And then you're going to get into writing the essay itself. So once you've got an outline done, submit it. If you want feedback right away, you can always email me and say, hey, I just submitted my outline. Can you look over it for me? And I try to get to those fast so that you can keep going because everybody's on a different timeline. So in this assignment, then we move forward and you're going to start drafting. And I give you these steps for writing a rough draft that I think are best for students. You don't have to do it this way, but I highly recommend it. In particular, use of a writing timer. So depending on how you write, if you're one of those, like you got to get everything out of your brain and onto a piece of paper all at once, then set a timer for an hour. If you're somebody who gets distracted easily, do 15 minutes at a time and see how that goes. Don't stop to correct any errors. This is just a dump of stuff on a page. Don't use AI, don't use Grammarly, don't correct your errors, leave all the squiggles in there. It's sort of like a free write, but a little bit more specific to how an essay is going to look. So try to get your introduction paragraph, your body paragraphs, enter and indent, that kind of thing. But I want all the errors in there. And the reason is because the second part of the assignment is to give yourself some self-editing comments. So once you have it done, you submit it. And then you can see over here on the side, it says you've submitted and then submission details. And you're going to click on submission details. And then right here in the middle of the page, it will say view feedback. So you're going to click on that, and that's going to bring up, this is the same way that you view my feedback on any assignment. You're going to make it full screen, and then you have access to all these editing tools to leave feedback for yourself. So I'm looking for you to leave yourself, you know, 8 to 10 comments. I like the little bubble thing, but you can also highlight and leave some feedback, however you prefer to do it. Some students will like pick a color that they want to use. You can change colors. You can get real fancy with it, or you can keep it basic, but that's what you're going to do. So I'm looking at it to make sure you did a full rough draft, and then I'm looking to make sure that you left yourself feedback. And those are the two kind of parts of the assignment that you need to have done by the end of the module. So leave yourself some time to do that. If you have questions as you go through any of these assignments, please send me an email. Otherwise, have a great week.